Good morning, everyone. Have you ever wondered what message might be hidden in the movie Pinocchio? My name is Jacqueline Nicole. Welcome to my channel, The Message That Got Mythed. And on this channel, I am adamant that Disney was an occultist and an alchemist that hid deeper messages within his movies while he was alive. Pinocchio is no different. In today's episode, we're going to be looking over some of the theoretical themes that happen throughout and where we got them from. Things like, what's the moral of the story? What is everyone after? And what does Gideon even stand for? So without further ado, we're going to pull up some slides, we're going to look at some things, and we're going to check out some theories that are hidden within Pinocchio. Disney was always known for leaving either a legend or some sort of visual hint, half-hidden hint, in the beginning of his movies. Pinocchio is no different. There's a moral hidden within the first little bit of the movie, but can you catch it?
I think he'll be all right.
Did you get it? Okay, we'll try it one more time.
I think he'll be all right.
All right, so the moral of the story is hidden when Jiminy Cricket's first seen on the strings. Geppetto paints an eyebrow, and then Jiminy Cricket is seen off the strings and beside a happy statue. So what's the moral of the story? Well, it's basically how to get your conscience off the mental models forced on you and to make your own. The mental models forced on you, such as school, religion, and culture. And this is hinted at with the Egyptian eyebrow. So when Geppetto goes and paints the eyebrow on him, this is actually a spiritual nod to an ancient teaching. Especially back in ancient Egypt, they believed that humans had a sixth sense. Now, what the sixth sense was, it was represented by the eyebrow on the eyes of Horus and Ra. And the eyebrow is the string that tethers your mind to your heart. It is the thing that occupies both and both want. You know how sometimes you'll think thoughts and you know that your heart's not in it? That's not what we were talking about. You know how sometimes you'll take pleasure and joy in things and you know that it's not good or not logical or not in line? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the thing that makes your heart sing and your mind just can't stop with. That's the through line that the eyebrow represents, and it basically represents your spirit. All right. So if you're supposed to get off the mental models that are forced on you, what are you supposed to do then? There's actually two systems hidden within Pinocchio. There's the Honest John system, and then there's the Geppetto system. So the Honest John system is where he convinces you to go to school. He convinces you that you're sick and that you have the right to be on Pleasure Island. And this is actually what makes you Gideon. And Gideon is literally a stand-in for Pinocchio. Gideon is mute. He makes no decisions of his own, and you can tell that he's not all there, we'll call it.
Remember, Giddy, the time I tied strings on you and passed you off as a puppet?
But the thing that's the real kicker to Gideon being the stand-in for Pinocchio is within the names. Gideon means brave warrior or one who cuts down. And the thing about symbolic spiritualism is that all symbols will have a good side and a bad side, and you just got to figure out which one to plunk in. So if the name Gideon can either stand for brave warrior or one who cuts down, let's look at what the name Pinocchio stands for. Pinocchio stands for wood and eye. So wood symbolically is always associated usually with wisdom, and eye is usually associated with vision. It's a wise vision. This is how you learn. So if you decide to become a real boy and to actually go through the Geppetto system, which is what Pinocchio goes through, this is how you become a real boy. Now, what is the Geppetto system? Geppetto system is not school.
Oh, wait. Come back here, Figaro. School is not for you.
Geppetto lives with Cleo and Figaro. Now, Cleo is a fish, and symbolically, Fishes are always known for going with the flow of life. And Figaro is a cat, and cats are always known for vision. Now, one of the best things that helps you be in the Geppetto house and not the Honest John system is the phrase know thyself. And know thyself is from ancient Greece, but Greece related to a lot of the ancient Egyptian symbolism, so they kind of have some ties in. But the know thyself, here's how we learn. And once again, Disney kind of did a nod to this. So when Geppetto is looking for Pinocchio, Pinocchio actually literally, he points or he touches Geppetto's foot when he says, hey, here I am. And the foot is always symbolic of your imprint in life, what you leave behind, things like that. I hate to mention it, but the Christian poem Footsteps is actually a good indicator of this. It's the imprint that we leave behind. No, Pinocchio is not a Christian film. We will get back to that later in a different video, but it is not a Christian film. So when he says, here I am, so it's Pinocchio locating his impact and his imprint on the world. And when he does this, you'll notice that Figaro, the cat, goes from being between Geppetto's feet and he shoots up to under Geppetto's cap. Now, if you remember, anything that's under the hat is kind of like what's on your mind or how you think or like the framework you use. So now that Pinocchio has visually used his vision to recognize his impact, he can think with vision as well. This is part of how you become a real boy. Why is it that there's an Honest John system, and why is it that the Coachman and Honest John are after Pinocchio? What is it that they're after? Well, there's a saying, hands in my pocket, and it always means somebody taking something that is yours, somebody stealing from you, invasive withdrawal, things like that. I actually think Capital One had like a commercial about with this song a while ago.
Hands in my pocket, hands in my pocket, hands in my pockets. Hands in my pocket.
But either way, we see in this movie a lot of nods to pockets, butts, and things in the pants. And the Kundalini is an Eastern Eastern spiritual theory. It believes that your life force is curled up like a snake at the base of your spine. What is the base of your spine? Your hips, your butt, da 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 da. And this Kundalini is what holds your life force. It's what holds your gifts. It's what you're curious about. It's what you like. It's the thing that connects your mind and your heart. That's the thing. And the thing is with the Kundalini is when it uncoils, it starts to uncoil and makes your way up your spine and it goes out and it fills your life. Anyways, but this is also actually what's represented by all the butts in Pinocchio, and every time that you see it looks like somebody could be potentially mooning somebody else. It is a nod to a potential axis in the story, when things could change, when a moment of impact could happen. Now, like we said, a lot of symbols will have a good and a bad side, so we have to look at the good and the bad side of this Kundalini. This is all about the Kundalini, and since we see at the very beginning, Jiminy Cricket comes into Geppetto's house and he starts warming his backside with something warm again, we're going to look at warming, because warming can either be like affection or love, intimacy, or warming can also like signify anger and such. But when you have the vision that Pinocchio had to locate himself and to look at his impact, by critically thinking about your impact, you start to learn to love yourself and to give your life force some affection. Is that what you wanted to do? No. Okay, start looking at the good things. And this is also echoed in multiple points through the movie where when things don't go your way, if you start looking at the good in life, things will change. All right, so just a couple of ways to think about this. I just put OD to 5D. I don't even know if OD exists, but the 5D definitely does. The 5D is a spiritual trope. 5D is seen as like higher thinking, higher consciousness. When we connect to the divine, it is a higher plane. This is actually symbolized by the shells the shelf in Geppetto's house, specifically the one that had the moral of the story on it. The house and Honest John are, it's like the merging of the metaphysical to the tangible. So like the Honest John system, like schooling system and the system of culture, they're all kind of these like metaphysical things that keep people in line. Like think of like speed limit. You can't touch a speed limit, but you know you have to do the speed limit. Therefore your car, what is tangible, does the speed limit, that which is metaphysical. So the Geppetto system is reflecting on yourself, learning from your own life flow, and having your own vision. The Honest John system is the mental models that are forced upon you by school and culture. This makes you either Pinocchio or Gideon. And Gideon, as we saw, he's a mute kid who can't talk, and he's just a cog in the system, whereas Pinocchio is a real boy, and he consciously makes the decision to go on this journey. That's what gives him his own thoughts and his own mental model. The Spirit and the Whale. So at the beginning, we have Geppetto doing a lot of celebrating and dancing, and at the end, we have the whale being really angry. So dancing is always seen as like a life force. It's something to celebrate the divine. It's something that like calls in the life force. It's a positive thing. And once again, you know how we talked about the backside, either warming or being angry. The backside of it is if your Kundalini is caged down, it will probably come out through anger. You will need to know what you are angry on. You'll have to reflect on your impact and see what you're angry on. And that's how it comes out. You can either be angry, end of the movie, or you can be happy. Celebrate. Celebrating is when your Kundalini force is coming out. It's not locked away, and you're not the Pinocchio in the birdcage. You are letting your life force out, and you're taking the journey on how you see fit. All right, so what's trapping you? So when we look at Pinocchio watching Lampwick destroy Pleasure Island from behind the chair, it literally looks like he's behind the birdcage bars. And as we know, a full birdcage means imprisonment. So what does this have to do with Lampwick and Stromboli's birdcage? Well, the birdcage is literally like your inner self or your inner conscience watching your ego, Lampwick, run around and destroy things. It's literally what it is. So you get out of being a jackass by understanding what it is that you're angry about and what it is that you actually feel. And also in this movie, there's a couple little nods to crying and anger, and it kind of signifies that, sometimes when people are angry, they're just really sad.
Yes, she will be on everybody's tongue.
Will she?
Forza, un amico, la partente, la cacchia, e la sbagliante, la calcar, e la passita... Oh, for you, my little...
So you're allowed to be angry. Know what you're angry about. It helps you get out of the system. It helps you get your own mental model. Don't be afraid to get angry. That's what's trapping you. Well, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this gives you a little bit more insight into the film known as Pinocchio. Once again, I fully believe that Walt was an alchemist and occultist and believed in the esoteric and not a Christian. If you like this, please give me a like, comment, or subscribe. If you have any questions at all, please help me by leaving a comment. I'm dyslexic, so it's very hard for me to get this stuff out in a cohesive message. I try my best. It's a little messy, and I appreciate you guys having the patience to stick with it. Please leave any comments, questions, or tips that I could do better, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers!